Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business Live. Looking forward to talking with Joseph Wilkins. Joseph, it's great to have you on the show today. We are going to talk about, you are the founder of ProCreative. Almost 20 years ago, you're a marketing agency focused on infomercials, TV commercials, and online videos. Looking forward to talking with you. You've done work on ad campaigns with McDonald's and Goldman Sachs, Home Depot, mega brands, Google, LinkedIn, etc. Want to talk to you about, just your business, right? I mean, as habits have shifted from broadcast online, you've launched FunnySalesVideos, where your team now creates attention-grabbing, viral-style sales videos. To me, one of the things I see as a business coach is not so much getting people's attention, but keeping people's attention.
Yes. Yeah.
Being memorable. So can you talk a little bit about, what someone needs to do today to be memorable?
Well, I think first of all, as you said, you need to realize that you need to be memorable, right? So if you go onto your social media feed right now and look for a few minutes, you'll be bombarded with ads and you won't care about one of them. That's my prediction. What you need to do is realize that the reason why people are on those platforms in the first place isn't to be sold, isn't to learn, it's to waste some time. It's to have some fun. It's to, catch up with friends, but also, to be entertained. And so the closer that your content can mimic the reason why they're there in the first place, it only stands to reason that you're going to connect with them and earn their attention. Don't think that just because, you're going to throw some ad dollars at a campaign that earns someone's attention. It doesn't.
Yeah, I love it. So can you give an example? I love, your website, which is FunnySalesVideos.com, affordable, high converting sales videos. We do funny, you make money. I love that whole tagline. So talk a little bit about that. Like, what are some of the, how do you do it?
Well, let me give you first why we do it. Okay. So for 15 years, just like you said, we were solely focused on television. And then as habits shifted, we started doing online web corporate videos, but nobody cares. Right? If you pay to be on TV, you've captured someone's attention because they've got to watch through your ad to get to the next episode of their show. Online, it's a whole different mindset. They will click away in a heartbeat. I mean, with YouTube, you got them for 5 seconds. So first of all, that first 5 seconds needs to be the best 5 seconds. But why do we do it? Well, before we made the switch and we were making these traditional corporate style videos, the biggest video view count we ever got online was for a company that we made a video and it got to 100,000 views, which at the time we thought was amazing. Our very first campaign, when we decided after clients asking us for years and years and years, we want to do something funny, and we would always say no because we didn't have the team. We didn't have the people on the bus. Yeah. The worst thing you can do is try to be funny and end up looking silly. Yeah. So you got to have the right writers, and in my free ebook I talk about where you as a business person can go out and do this yourself and where you can find those writers. But once we have the right team, our very first campaign for a SaaS company with a super niche audience, we generated 7 million views and $500,000 in direct sales. Fast forward to today, our biggest campaign for the most boring product you can imagine, laundry detergent. We have over 100 million views, millions and millions and millions of dollars in sales. These are transformational campaigns that, if done right, can take your business from, breaking even with online ads to, I mean, it sounds almost laughable, but one campaign for 1 week, we had a 19x return on ad spend.
Amazing.
Now you're never going to sustain those kinds of crazy numbers, but that's why we do what we do.
I love it. And you talked about, the difference between being funny and silly.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and I think that is such a big difference. And so, because to me, funny really kind of, there's just a big difference. But how do you define the difference?
Well, the difference is, does somebody laugh? right? It's really, really simple. And it's a totally different audience if you're creating a funny viral style video for a SaaS company targeting C-suite as opposed to a acne cream targeting teenagers.
Yeah.
You've got to have the right writers to write to that audience. And ultimately, it's only funny if your audience laughs. And so you've got to make it relevant. You've got to make it, something that somebody says, oh, that's like me. That's my problem. And yes, I'm laughing at it, but I'm also secretly pulling you into a story that establishes a problem that we solve. So you got to connect, and you also have to be on culture. Now, that doesn't mean it's got to look like anything that you've done before, but you can't go against what the company fundamentally believes.
Yeah.
And so it has to be on brand. And that's a tricky line.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. And that's why you need a professional to do it. Because if you're I think, as a business coach, I work with successful people who are stuck and work with them to get and stay unstuck. And I love having this podcast because I interview people like you that helps people get unstuck, right? So all those people who are trying to do these types of videos, these sales videos, sometimes you're too in your business to know what funny even is. Right. So I think that's when they become silly, right? It's like what's funny internally isn't necessarily funny externally to your client or prospect.
And let me add to that.
Yeah.
I personally don't consider myself to be that funny. So that should give hope to your audience. They don't need to be funny, but they need to hire professional comedy writers who are. Yeah. So most people are pretty astounded when I tell them every video that you see on our website took us 3 to 4 months to produce. 2 of those months were in writing.
Yeah.
And we have at least 6, 7, sometimes 8 writers on every script, because the wisdom of the crowd is always better than the individual. So no matter how funny a person you find, you got to add 5, 6, 7 more like that to the team.
Yeah, I love it. And talk to the Think community about consistency. It's not, I would imagine it's not one and done. There is a ongoing, process to it.
There is. I mean, as far as wanting to generate sales, actually, some of our campaigns are immediately successful out of the gate, but after probably, depending on how much money you're promoting these video ads with, which is what they are, they're not just let's make an ad and hope it goes viral. It's like let's make an ad that when we add $1 to it in ad spend, we get $3, $4, $5, $6 in return. So it's a business model. It's not let's pray and spray, right? And so, but once we launch these campaigns, I mean, we've had campaigns that within 2 weeks have generated $2 million in sales, immediate sales. But after a while, the ads do start to get creative fatigue. And so you have to continue to bring out new creative. But you'd be amazed after a few months or a year of not using it, you can bring it back and it'll perform again.
Yeah, I love it. Any books that you recommend people read to shift and change their mindset? When it comes to...
So one of the big pivots that helped us to really transform from a traditional to what we do now is we went through the Harmon Brothers University courses. Highly recommend that to everyone and anyone. I also recommend their book. It's called Poop to Gold. But then really the basics of advertising haven't changed, just the delivery mechanism have. So, some of the greats I can think of, Ogilvy on advertising. That was a really good book. 22 Immutable Laws of Branding, Al Reese and Jack Trout.
I love that.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite. I love marketing, and I just turned 50 yesterday, and 25 years ago, I read all their books. I love their stuff. Yeah.
So really it's just applying those same tried and proven principles to, funny is just a vehicle to deliver those marketing messages that haven't changed.
Yeah. So from Poop to Gold, I love it. Yeah. I've never heard of that book. It sounds hilarious. The Ogilvy one I have, but that's great. All right. This was great. Joseph, I'd love to have you on the show again. I keep these to about 10 minutes, but I'd love to have you on again and talk further about video. I'm a huge advocate of video. I turn my podcast into a web show, which then becomes, gets turned into a podcast. I do videos on a weekly basis. There's something so powerful about a video. Many years ago, I heard a study that 30-second video is equivalent to 3.5 million words read. I can't find where I heard that, but even if it was 80% wrong, it's still great. And so, but I love it. I think video is incredibly powerful. Tell everybody how they can connect with you and learn more about FunnySalesVideos.com.
So 2 ways. Number one, if you've liked listening to this and you're a podcast listener, I run my own show. It's called How to Make a Video Go Viral. It's on all the podcast platforms, and we go into way more detail. Second place is you can download our free ebook called How to Make a Funny Sales Video Without Hiring Us. So it's just a free resource. It's at FunnySalesVideos.com. While you're there, if you like some of the videos and you wanted to schedule a free chat with me to brainstorm ideas for your business, there's a form right on that homepage, FunnySalesVideos.com.
I love it. I love it. Well, I appreciate you being on the show, Joseph. This was great. I love what you're doing. Think community. One of the things that's so important is that we invest in ourselves in today's world. It sounds funny today as we sit here on May 16th, 2022. But if you're not using video, it's like you're still using the yellow pages, and so we, to get current, I think a lot of times people think, well, I'm maybe behind the curve. Video is still cutting edge and what people need and how people learn. We are in a storytelling world, and video does such a way of being able to hit all the senses. I appreciate you, being on the show. And do you know David Wachs from handwritten.com?
Yes. Yeah, we just finished a campaign for him.
So he said video's great. He did a great job. I know him. He's been on the show a bunch. And we're running a video with them right now. So that's good. All right, good. So I appreciate you being on the show. FunnySalesVideos.com, everybody. Joseph, thanks so much for being on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Thanks.